One way to expand, I guess, your visibility online would be to engage with online communities. So that's building relationship with readers. I think it's important to say build relationship with readers, okay? When you're talking about building a platform for the purpose of sales and growth, you need to find relevant platforms. And when I say relevant platforms, these are not author groups. You are looking for readers, not authors. And while authors are readers, it is unlikely that they are going to purchase another author's book. That's just my experience. I could be completely wrong, and there could be a group out there that shares work all the time. But from what I've noticed, authors are not going to buy other authors' books. So you're going to look for Facebook groups or LinkedIn communities, Reddit communities, focused on your particular genres, or maybe just things that they like. I had mentioned earlier, if you're writing science fantasy, you might want to join Star Wars groups because those are science fantasy movies or other movies such as that. Because they might actually be interested in the content that you have to provide. Book forums, you can join writer communities. Those are networking opportunities to learn from other authors. And I have a few examples on my website if you want to visit the blog. And there are benefits to networking with writer groups. But keep in mind, when you are in a writer group, spamming your book constantly as an ad, trying to get people to buy it, that's not the correct place or time to be doing that. So be mindful of which group that you're interacting with as far as the content and how you engage with the community. Make sure you research the community and you understand the guidelines and you understand their interests. You don't want to be posting things in that group that they have no interest in, and gauge their the levels of engagement and what your potentials are for interaction there. Making sure that you're, introducing yourself and you're building a rapport and you're letting people know that you're there and who you are and why you're there. Making sure to contribute value. So you can have advice. Maybe if you're in a writing community, you can offer advice and share insights there. You could answer questions. Some of the writer groups that I am on, people will have a question, and so you have an opportunity to answer and be helpful to members in the community. In a reader group, somebody might say, hey, I like this book. What might you recommend? And it might be your book, but it might not be your book. So just keep in mind, be honest with your answer. Don't just push your book constantly. That will get annoying really fast, and people will pick up on it faster than you think. And provide resources. So if you have tools or things that you use or that you do that you think might be beneficial to people, start sharing that. Making sure that you're engaging regularly, so to have constant participation. So that way, when they're looking at their newsfeed or when they're, posting something or looking at the comments, if your name comes up all the time, they might be like, hey, this person has really, really, really good advice. I'm going to jump over to their page and see what they have to offer. That could end up being a follow back or something like that. And again, same thing as always, quality over quantity. Don't just reply or make comments here and there just to, fool the algorithm. Actually engage with the community and have conversations. I think you'll find it's far more beneficial than just kind of going through the motions kind of thing. Make sure that your interactions are respectful. Listen actively and pay attention to what people are saying and read things thoroughly. There have been a couple times I've seen people comment and I'm like, you obviously read half of that post. Be respectful of opinions. Keep politics out of it. Politics and religion, you should just stay away from it at all costs and avoid it when you are interacting with online communities. And just be humble, approach discussions with humility. And, everybody comes from a different background. I just be kind out there. I mean, I had a guy today that would not stop bothering me. He wanted to talk about digital marketing, and he kept badgering me, and I said, no, I'm sorry, I do all my digital marketing, I'm not interested at this point in time. And he kept going, yeah, okay, I hear you, but can I message you and we talk about it? And I'm like, no, I'm not really interested. And he kept going, and then I finally had to say, please respect my answer and handle it professionally and politely. I've been nice, and I said no. Sometimes I wasn't mean or anything. I'm just not interested. And I've told you this is the third time. So I'm going to be a little bit more stern with you. And then he left me alone, but I wasn't mean about it. Just keep that in mind. Maintain your professional integrity. Sometimes it's hard. I know sometimes it's hard. And lastly, just avoid the overly promotional tactics. I see people who join groups, and the only thing that they contribute is sharing their book or their game over and over and over and over again with no other interaction whatsoever. And I know I've said in a previous blog post, like especially on Twitter, I've noticed that it gets bad sometimes, that you have authors like there's this thing where they just go out and they just follow a bunch of people, and they're expecting a follow back. And so they'll come back in a week and they'll unfollow you if you didn't follow them back. But I'm looking to engage in content. I don't want a bunch of garbage in my feed. So if somebody follows me, I'm going to look at their profile and I'm going to see what they have to contribute. If they have engaging content, I will follow them back. If all you have is book spam, you're not getting a follow back. So I do look at those things because I don't want a bunch of book spam in my feed. So I do take that into consideration. I'm looking for engaging content. I'm not looking for advertisements every day. So it's a good way to get unfollowed if your page or your account does nothing but self-promotion. So keep that in mind whenever you're engaging online, and make it engaging and make it valuable.